Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? And is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir, the screen is visible.
thank you. So today's topic is the dog BP experiment. In this experiment, this is computer assisted learning. In this experiment, we will study effect of response of various neurotransmitters on dog blood pressure, and compared to that, we can see the responses of antagonists of respective neurotransmitters. So in CAL, there is a software. There is automated software where you can select dog BP experiment, and in that you can take the readings. On left hand panel, there will be one drop down menu in which all the drugs will be there. Once you instill one drug, a related response will come, and you can see that. So it is computer assisted learning, very easy to perform. So, what are the aims of the today's experiment? To demonstrate normal response brackets. Normal response brackets means normal response in related to respective drugs like adrenaline, noradrenaline, acetylcholine, histamine. What are the normal responses with normal saline? What are the baseline readings look like, and how these readings will change when we install adrenaline or noradrenaline. So we will study normal response brackets with all the neurotransmitters like adrenaline, noradrenaline, and histamine, acetylcholine, etc. To demonstrate normal response brackets and effect and interaction of various doses of various drugs on blood pressure and heart rate in simulation of drug BP experiment. And second aim is to demonstrate Dale's vasomotor reversal phenomenon and re-reversal phenomenon. So you will demonstrate both the responses, Dale's vasomotor reversal phenomenon and re-reversal phenomenon, to demonstrate phenomenon of tachyphylaxis. In dog BP experiment only, we will see the tachyphylaxis response. To demonstrate the effect of high dose acetylcholine on blood pressure after etoposide. We will see what will be the effect of acetylcholine per se and what will be the effect of acetylcholine after giving atropine. High doses of acetylcholine after giving atropine, and to identify the unknown drugs. From the normal response brackets, you will know what will be the responses of adrenaline, noradrenaline, isoprenaline, histamine, acetylcholine, etc. So one unknown drug will be given and you have to identify it. So based on the normal response brackets, what are the changes that has happened in compared to normal response? Based on that, you can tell it is which drug, whether there is fall in BP or rise in BP, whatever it is, whether it is agonist or antagonist, that's unknown drug. So we can study all these aims in this experiment. So in general, animal used for laboratory experiments is mongrel's dog. Experiment is done on mongrel's dog, but we are doing cal. So it is a simulated mongrel's dog, 50 kg body weight. So apparatus required for this experiment are mercury manometer and kymograph. Kymograph means I hope you know it is a drum. It is a cylinder. It is cylindrical drum where the smoked paper will be attached to it. So rise in BP, fall in BP, everything will be marked on this kymograph drum. Smoked paper will be attached to the kymograph drum, and we will take the responses on the kymograph. One lever will be attached to the dissection stand, and whenever there is rise in BP, this lever will go up and draw a line on the kymograph. If there is fall in BP, the lever will fall down and draw a line on the kymograph. So this is kymograph is mainly to take the responses. So mercury manometer, kymograph, dissecting platform with thermostat, light source, dissecting instruments, tracheal tube, ventilator, cannula, thread, syringes with needles, beaker, cotton, etc. You are not doing this experiment, but you should know how this experiment is going to perform. So you should know what are all the apparatus involved, what is the real procedure that is done.
मेरी एक्सपेरिमेंट करा रहा है बंद कर दे एक बारी.
So solution and drugs, different drugs and solutions used for this experiment are normal saline. Normal saline to see the normal response. It is like a placebo. Normal saline, chlorelase to anesthetize the dog, sodium citrate, heparin to prevent clotting at the site of inserting cannula, heparin, adrenaline, noradrenaline, isoprenaline. So normal responses are seen with these drugs: adrenaline, noradrenaline, isoprenaline, propranolol, ephedrine, and acetylcholine. And antagonists used are antagonists that are studied are phentolamine, atropine. For histamine, antagonists studied are meperamine and cimetidine. The meperamine and cimetidine are histamine receptor blockers. Phentolamine is alpha blocker. Atropine is anti-muscarinic drug. So we will studying responses of both agonists and antagonists in this experiment. So what is the principle of this experiment? Change in blood flow to the carotid bodies or stimulation of nerve causes some reflex action to take place, which in turn lead to change in neurotransmitter levels at the effector organs, resulting in change in blood pressure or heart rate. Exogenously administered drugs act on various receptors to show their effects. This is the principle. Whenever there is alteration in release of neurotransmitters, BP and heart rate will vary. We will study these responses in this experiment. So normally what is the method that is done? In CAL we don't do this method. In CAL there is automated software you are doing on that. But in general how dog BP is done, there is no need to fast the animal. Usually for animal experiments, depending upon the experiment, we will fast the animal like in anything. Tail flick method done on mouse, we will fast the animal like that. Mercury manometer setup is done. Kymograph is kept ready for recording. So mercury manometer is set up. Kymograph is kept ready for recording. Dog is anesthetized using chlorelase. Chlorelase is an anesthetic drug and fixed on dissecting platform with ventral surface upside. Next, neck is dissected. Trachea is identified and inserted with tracheal tube. Femoral region is explored, femoral neurovascular bundle is identified, and femoral vein is cannulated. All the drugs are to be administered to this cannula. So, a requirement of this step is to instill the drugs, to administer the drugs. Femoral region is explored, and we will identify the femoral vein which is cannulated. All the drugs are to be administered to this cannula. Once we have administered a drug, we cannot remove or wash in real time. In real time experiment in lab, when we are doing, once we inject the drug, we cannot wash it out. We cannot remove or wash it out from the body of the drug unless it gets metabolized spontaneously with time. But in CAL software, we are provided with facility to remove a drug or blocker. We can select new animal immediately. Similarly, carotid neurovascular bundle is explored in the neck. Next step is carotid neurovascular bundle is explored in the neck. Vagus nerve is separated from the bundle and pulled apart because we will check the response with vagus nerve stimulation also. So vagus nerve is separated from the bundle and pulled apart with the help of thread to identify it. Next, carotid artery is cannulated. Carotid artery Carotid artery cannula is connected to the BP manometer. Through this, we will measure the BP. Carotid artery cannula is connected to the BP manometer to transmit the pressure to mercury column and in turn to the kymograph. So change in BP is measured through mercury manometer. Whenever BP rises, there will be a lever attached. So there will be upward graph. Whenever there is fall in BP, there will be downward graph on the kymograph. The recordings are taken on the kymograph. So carotid artery cannula is connected to the BP manometer to transmit the pressure to mercury column and in turn to the kymograph in the form of recordings. Alternatively, a probe can put over the carotid artery to measure the dog blood pressure. This is non-invasive using the probe. Next, response of volume administered is recorded. How much drug we are injecting, and we will record the normal response brackets. First, we'll whatever it is, if it is a normal saline, we inject normal saline, take the response, BP and heart rate. So that is the normal response bracket. Normal response bracket response to so what are all the normal response brackets we will see is response to carotid occlusion, central and peripheral vagus nerve stimulation, administration of adrenaline, administration of noradrenaline, acetylcholine and histamine. These are all the normal response brackets. Response to carotid artery occlusion, peripheral and central vagus stimulation, administration of adrenaline, noradrenaline, acetylcholine and histamine are taken as normal response brackets. Response of each drug is taken, antagonism can also be showed. In comparison to the normal response brackets, antagonism can also be showed. Shape and size of recordings of various drug responses are carefully observed in response to normal response brackets. First, we will instill noradrenaline and we will take the response. What is the fall in BP or rise in BP? Heart rate is increasing or decreasing. Next, same with noradrenaline, acetylcholine and histamine. These are all agonists. Followed by that, then we will instill antagonists and compare the responses. What is the initial response? What is the response observed after instilling antagonist? So, like that, we will study the responses of various drugs. Next, nature of unknown drugs can also be identified by observing the change in response to normal response brackets or other drugs. Sometimes you may be asked to identify unknown drugs. So, how will you identify? By comparing with the normal responses. You know what are all the normal responses. So, when an unknown drug is given, adrenaline is causing rise in BP, but the unknown drug is causing fall in BP. From that, you can say whether it is alpha blocker or beta blocker, depending upon the responses. You can tell unknown drug is agonist or antagonist. So note in all the tables, values of mean arterial BP and heart rate are in mmHg. We are taking the recordings in mmHg and beats per minute. Heart rate is taken in beats per minute. Here values of increased or decreased BP and heart rate are considered at their peak and trough. So peak values and trough values are taken. Peak means height of the response, trough means base of the response. Change in BP and heart rate means change from their baseline value. First we will take the baseline value, that is the normal value. So when our response increases from the baseline value, then we call it as increase in response. If response decreases from the baseline value, it is called decrease in response. So objective, so there are different objectives. First, to study the normal response brackets. Next, to identify a response, Dale's vasomotor phenomenon, Dale's re-reversal phenomenon, all these things will be done. So first objective is to demonstrate normal response brackets and effects and interaction of varying drugs of various, to demonstrate normal response brackets and effect and interaction of various doses of various drugs and BP and heart rate. So here, like in this table, you will first take the baseline reading, normal reading without inject anything. You will take the baseline reading. You will open the BP experiment and without installing any drugs, you will observe the response. So you will note the BP and heart rate. Next, you will inject normal saline and take the readings of BP and heart rate. Next, so these are selected from the drop down menu. On the left side of the screen, there will be one drop down menu. So from that you can select carotid artery occlusion. Time taken 15 seconds. So what is the response? Usually with carotid artery occlusion, there will be rise in BP and fall in heart rate. We are telling rise in BP and falling heart rate because we are comparing with the baseline. We are first taking the baseline readings. After that, we are doing carotid artery occlusion. Compared to baseline, heart rate and BP will increase. Next, carotid vagus stimulation. Central vagus stimulation. Central vagus stimulation causes fall in BP and fall in heart rate. Next is peripheral vagus stimulation, again for 15 seconds. It also causes fall in BP and heart rate. Adrenaline. With adrenaline, there will be rise in BP and rise in heart rate. Adrenaline 2 doses are given 0.1 micrograms per kg, adrenaline 2 micrograms per kg. So difference between high dose and low dose. We are checking the difference between high dose and low dose. Noradrenaline 3 micrograms per kg is given. BP will decrease. Sorry, BP will increase. Heart rate will decrease. For adrenaline, BP is increasing. Heart rate is also increasing. But for noradrenaline, BP is increasing, but heart rate will decrease. There is a variation in response compared to adrenaline and noradrenaline. And externally will ask, why is the difference in heart rate with adrenaline and noradrenaline? So if you know the site of receptor action, you can tell the reason why there is difference between adrenaline and noradrenaline for action on heart rate. Next, acetylcholine. Acetylcholine 3 micrograms is given and 5 micrograms is given. And finally, other normal response bracket is histamine. Histamine 3 micrograms per kg is given. So usually with acetylcholine there will be fall in BP, and same with histamine there will be fall in BP. So both with acetylcholine and histamine the response is fall in BP. So they may give an unknown drug. It may be an anti-muscarinic drug or it may be an antihistaminic drug. So they will ask to identify the unknown drug. So you can identify the unknown drug based on the response with, you will compare the response with acetylcholine, you will compare the response with histamine also. So like that you can identify the. So these are normal response brackets. Normal response brackets are studied with normal saline, carotid occlusion, central vagus nerve stimulation, peripheral vagus stimulation, adrenaline, noradrenaline, acetylcholine, and histamine. Following by that, you will study the effects of various antagonists. Show the effect of atropine compared to acetylcholine. Propranolol. What is the effect of propranolol in relation to adrenaline or noradrenaline? Phentolamine in relation to adrenaline or noradrenaline. Propranolol is a beta blocker. How the response changes. Phentolamine. How the response changes. Meperamine and cimetidine are antihistaminic drugs. So how the response of histamine changes after giving this antagonist drugs. So this is a very simple. First you will from the drop down menu you will take adrenaline, study the response. What is the increase in BP or decrease in BP or rise in heart rate and fall in heart rate. Next, to compare with antagonists, you will instill an antagonist like propranolol. You will install propranolol. Next, following by it, you will instill adrenaline, and you will see what is the response with normal response bracket. What is the response seen with adrenaline given alone, and what is the response given with adrenaline after giving propranolol or after giving phentolamine. Histamine response after giving meperamine and cimetidine. So antagonism can be shown by adding respective agonists after administering antagonists. So here what you should remember is to study the response of antagonists. First we are instilling antagonist. After that we will receptors. Alpha-1 receptors causes vasoconstriction, peripheral vasoconstriction followed by rise in BP. Gradually with time, adrenaline will be metabolized. So at low doses, it acts on beta-2 receptors. When it acts on beta-2 receptors, it causes vasodilation and fall in BP. This is called biphasic response of adrenaline. So this is the normal response of adrenaline, a rise in BP followed by fall in BP. So it is it is the response with noradrenaline. It is not a biphasic response because adrenaline will act on all the receptors alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. But noradrenaline it will act on alpha 1, alpha 2, and beta 1. No action on beta 2. So it is not a biphasic response. With noradrenaline, when we give noradrenaline, there will be only rise in BP. We don't see any fall in BP because there is no beta 2 action. So for noradrenaline, there will be only rise in BP. So Dale's vasomotor phenomenon, Dale's vasomotor reversal. Vasomotor reversal is we are blocking alpha receptors. So adrenaline response is studied only with beta 2 receptors. That is fall in BP. That is vasomotor reversal. What is vasomotor re-reversal? A response to adrenaline 2 microgram per kg administration after giving propranolol. In vasomotor reversal, we are using phentolamine alpha blocker. To demonstrate a re-reversal, we are giving beta blocker. When beta blocker is given, what will happen? There will only be rise in BP. There won't be any fall in BP because we are giving beta blockers. Beta 2 receptors will be blocked. There won't be any fall in BP. So we will see rise in BP is observed. Observation only rise in BP because BP is increasing, heart rate will decrease, and it is called re-reversal phenomenon. This is most important for you. Examiners commonly expect you to demonstrate vasomotor reversal and vasomotor re-reversal. So these are normal responses seen with adrenaline. Adrenaline, there is rise in BP due to alpha 1 action, fall in BP due to beta 2 action. Norepinephrine, there will be only rise in BP. There is because of alpha 1 action. There won't be any fall in BP. Isoprenaline, only it acts only on beta receptors, no alpha action. So with isoprenaline, we will see only fall in BP. So here we are giving alpha blocker. If alpha blocker is given, red marks is alpha blocker. If alpha blocker is given, there will be only fall in BP. There won't be any rise in BP. If we give beta blocker, a red mark is beta blocker. If we give beta blocker, there will be only a rise in BP. There won't be any fall in BP. This is called re-reversal. With isoprenaline, initially there is fall in BP, but due to beta blocker, we don't see any response with isoprenaline. That is the last graph. So that is a demonstration of a reversal phenomenon and re-reversal phenomenon. Next, to show the phenomenon of tachyphylaxis. What do you mean by tachyphylaxis? Rapid development of tolerance. Whenever doses are repeated at frequent intervals, there will be diminution of response. For example, ephedrine, drugs affecting tachyphylaxis examples you should remember. Whenever you get a dog BP experiment, you should be good in ANS and you should be able to tell different examples of drugs causing tachyphylaxis like ephedrine, tyramine, amphetamine, etc. So these are indirectly acting drugs. Indirectly acting sympathomimetics. Ephedrine is a indirectly acting sympathomimetics. It will enter into the vesicles and release the noradrenaline. So when we frequently administer ephedrine, if we administer ephedrine, it will enter into the storage vesicles and displace the noradrenaline. So noradrenaline will be released and there will be rise in BP. So here it is acting by releasing the noradrenaline. It is not directly acting. So it is indirectly acting drug. So when we repeatedly give indirectly acting drugs, what will happen? Storage vesicles, noradrenaline storage will be diminished. So on repeated doses, response will decrease with indirectly acting drugs. So ephedrine is administered at frequent intervals. Observation, response, increase in BP and heart rate goes on decreasing and ultimately it disappears due to development of tachyphylaxis. So this is the table. Baseline reading you will take mean BP and heart rate and repeatedly you will give 200 milligram dose of ephedrine continuously. So response will diminish. I will show you the graph for tachyphylaxis. So this is the re-reversal phenomenon. In re-reversal phenomenon, when we give beta blocker, there will be only a rise in BP. So this is the graph of tachyphylaxis. Initial dose, good response is there, initial 3 doses. But when we repeat it continuously, there will be diminution in response. This is the tachyphylaxis graph. Tachyphylaxis occurs due to diminution of storage of noradrenaline in storage vesicles. So this is the response with tachyphylaxis. So we will demonstrate Dale's reversal phenomenon, re-reversal phenomenon, tachyphylaxis. Next to show the effect of high dose acetylcholine after atropinization. So first we'll study the normal response of acetylcholine. Normal response of acetylcholine is fall in BP. Fall in BP is due to stimulation of M3 receptors on endothelium. It causes release of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. So acetylcholine causes fall in BP, mild fall in BP. After atropinization, what will happen? With low doses, this fall in BP will be arrested. But when we give high doses of acetylcholine after atropinization, what will happen? Atropine is a muscarinic blocker. Acetylcholine acts on 2 receptors, muscarinic receptors, nicotinic receptors. So when we give atropine, all muscarinic receptors are blocked. So it cannot act on muscarinic receptors. So acetylcholine will act only on nicotinic receptors. Nicotinic receptors are of 2 types, NN and NM. NN, N for nerve, M for muscle. NN receptors are present on ganglia, NM receptors are present at neuromuscular junction. So after atropinization, high doses of acetylcholine, they can't act on muscarinic receptors because they are blocked by atropine. So they will act only on nicotinic receptors, NN receptors on ganglia. NM receptors are present on sympathetic system also. So when acetylcholine and sympathetic ganglia are activated, it leads to release of adrenaline and noradrenaline, which leads to a rise in BP. Normal response with acetylcholine is fall in BP. But when we give, after giving atropinization, when we give high doses of acetylcholine, we will see rise in BP. So Axonal will ask you to demonstrate why there is rise in BP. So you must be able to tell the answer. Acetylcholine after atropinization will act on nicotinic receptors. Nicotinic receptors are present in ganglia, so sympathetic ganglia will be stimulated, which leads to release of adrenaline and noradrenaline and rise in BP. Rise in BP and heart rate. Heart rate will usually it may decrease because noradrenaline is usually released. Next, to identify unknown drug. Unknown drug is identified by observing its effect on normal response brackets and response of other drugs. So coming to discussion, BP and heart rate. BP and heart rate are affected by a number of substances acting on various type of receptors present in the blood vessels and heart, and by some reflex actions also. Concerned with present experiment, we are studying cholinergic response, adrenergic and histaminergic receptors are important. So we are studying response on alpha receptors, beta receptors, M3 receptors and histamine receptors. Alpha 1 receptor is a GQ protein coupled receptor. GQ protein coupled receptor. When it is stimulated, signal transduction through alpha subunit of G protein causes increase in intracellular calcium. GQ causes increase in calcium, thus smooth muscle contraction. So that's why alpha 1 receptor stimulation causes smooth muscle contraction, vasoconstriction and rise in BP. Norepinephrine is an alpha 1 agonist and thus it causes vasoconstriction, which in turn causes reflex bradycardia. Noradrenaline causes reflex bradycardia because it don't have beta 2 action. It acts on only on alpha receptors, vasoconstriction, rise in BP, so heart rate will decrease. But with adrenaline, it acts on alpha receptors and next beta receptors also. Beta action is vasodilation, fall in BP. So heart rate will increase. With adrenaline, heart rate will increase. With noradrenaline, heart rate will decrease because it don't have beta 2 action. So norepinephrine is a alpha 1 receptor agonist and it causes vasoconstriction, which in turn causes reflex bradycardia. Ephedrine is a mixed type adrenergic agonist, thus it increases mean BP. Phentolamine is an alpha 1 receptor blocker. It is non-selective alpha receptor blocker, so it decreases mean BP and reflex increase in heart rate. It is not decrease. Phentolamine, it blocks both alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors. Alpha 2 are presynaptic receptors. When presynaptic receptors are blocked, the role of presynaptic receptors is to control release of neurotransmitter. It inhibits release of neurotransmitters. So when presynaptic receptors are blocked, it leads to excessive release of noradrenaline. So this leads to reflex increase in heart rate. Here it is a typing mistake. It is not decrease. With phentolamine, there will be fall in BP and reflex increase in heart rate. Next, beta receptors are GS protein coupled receptors. When these are stimulated, they increase intracellular cyclic AMP levels and causes smooth muscle relaxation. So cyclic AMP is elevated, cyclic AMP elevation causes smooth muscle relaxation. That's why beta 2 receptor activation causes vasodilation. Adrenaline and isoprenaline are beta receptor agonists, thus they cause vasodilation and decrease in heart rate. Vasodilation causes fall in BP, so they cause increase in heart rate. Beta 2 receptors are more sensitive to the action of adrenaline than alpha receptors. So here important point to remember is beta 2 receptors are more sensitive to adrenaline compared to alpha 1 receptors. So at low doses, its effect will be seen only due to beta 2 action. So whenever concentration is low, more of beta 2 action because it is more responsive. So there will be vasodilation and fall in BP. At higher doses, its alpha action masks beta action, thus BP will rise. Whenever it is metabolized, plasma will fall again and leads to beta 2 action. That is biphasic response. Initial alpha action whenever concentration decreases, beta action leading to vasodilation. M3 receptors are GQ protein coupled receptors, again present on smooth muscles and endothelium. Usually they are not acted upon by its agonist like acetylcholine because blood vessels don't have parasympathetic supply. Here important to remember is blood vessels don't have parasympathetic supply, but when M3 receptors are on endothelium are stimulated, it leads to release of nitric oxide, which leads to vasodilation and fall in BP. Coming to histamine receptors, function and effect of H1 receptors on blood vessels is similar to M3 receptors. Function of H1 receptors on blood vessels is similar to muscarinic receptors, that is fall in BP. H2 receptors are GS protein coupled receptors. So again, there will be increase in cyclic AMP, vasodilation and fall in BP. So H2 receptors are GS protein coupled receptors present on blood vessels, smooth muscles and causes slow vasodilation when stimulated. Histamine is non-selective agonist. Histamine is a non-selective agonist, whereas meperamine is H1 selective agonist and cimetidine is H2 selective blocker. You will see the response of both the antihistaminics compared to histamine response by giving both meperamine H1 selective antagonist and H2 selective blocker, that is cimetidine. So what is the response seen with carotid artery occlusion? Why carotid artery occlusion is causing rise in BP and rise in heart rate? Carotid artery occlusion causes reduced blood supply to carotid body, which leads to relatively less stimulation of baroreceptors. So also chemoreceptors are also stimulated by hypoxia caused by reduced blood supply. Impulses from here will go through glossopharyngeal nerve to vasomotor center, and cardioinhibitory center will be inhibited in the medulla oblongata to increase the sympathetic discharge, leading to rise in BP and heart rate. So carotid artery occlusion causes rise in BP and heart rate due to this mechanism. There will be hypoxia. Because of that, impulses will go through glossopharyngeal nerve to vasomotor center, and cardioinhibitory center will be inhibited. There will be vasomotor discharge, leading to rise in BP and heart rate. So what are the responses seen with carotid vagus nerve stimulation, both central and peripheral? Stimulation of central end of vagus nerve will stimulate cardioinhibitory center and inhibit. So here vagal nerve stimulation is inhibiting vasomotor center. Because of inhibition of vasomotor center, there will be decrease in BP and heart rate. Stimulation of peripheral vagus nerve will directly lead to release of acetylcholine, and acetylcholine decreases heart rate and BP. Sometimes unexplained rise in BP is seen with central vagus nerve stimulation. So vasomotor reversal of Dale and reversal we have already seen. Vasomotor reversal is studied with phentolamine. We will give alpha blocker followed by adrenaline. Because alpha receptors are blocked, the only response is fall in BP. Re-reversal phenomenon we will study with beta blocker. Because beta receptors are blocked, there will be only alpha action. There will be only rise in BP. There won't be any fall in BP. That is re-reversal phenomenon. Tachyphylaxis is studied with indirectly acting drugs, ephedrine, tyramine, and amphetamine. What is the effect with somebody is talking? Please mute your microphone. So what is the effect seen with atropinization after giving it effect of high dose acetylcholine after atropinization? After atropinization, muscarinic receptors are blocked. So only receptors on which acetylcholine acts is nicotinic receptor. It acts on NN receptor and causes stimulation of sympathetic ganglia, leading to release of noradrenaline and rise in BP. So this is the experiment. So this is the experiment. So you will study normal response brackets. You will demonstrate vasomotor reversal of Dale, vasomotor re-reversal, and effect of atropinization after high doses acetylcholine, etc. So all this response you will study in this experiment. When you come for like